Joe Budden. Joe motherfucking Budden was right. That's what I want to say. Joe Budden was right. Because I listened to Charlamagne's whole perspective, Andrew Schultz. I listened to Joe Budden's perspective.
You mean about the ownership and all that shit?
Yeah, I even watched Star's perspective. Because Mark, you know, breed love, shout out to the OG. He said some shit that was like, he said some shit that I didn't at first get. And he was right. After I listened to, again, all sides and thought about it more critically, I was like, you right. And you know what brought it home for me? Was fucking Jeff Bezos' interview. Jeff? And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to bring all this shit together. So for those who don't know, whatever, so Charlamagne started his Black Effect podcast, which we definitely want to give a shout out to because that shit going to be major, and I'm going to support the fuck out of that. But with Spotify. And one of my OGs was like, that was a bad idea. Excuse me. You know, giving these white infrastructure all your power.
That was what Mark said? Yeah,
that's what Mark said. And I was like, how? I'm like, nah, it's a 50-50 partnership. You know what I'm saying? And so he, you know, tried to explain it, but it still didn't make sense until I listened to Joe Budden. And Joe Budden has some great points about talking about
partnership.
Well, ownership of the content, ownership of the company.
Right, but you can
when you write the checks, you're different from the person who just collects the checks. You have a different sort of power.
Right.
And you're not, it's like what Joe Budden was basically talking about is owning the infrastructure.
Gotcha.
So he was like saying, like, while your podcast is great, you're still a branch in the tree when you could have just been the whole tree and the branches.
Yeah, but okay. So I'm disappointed in you.
Well, hold on. Let me bring it home by how Jeff Bezos hit a eureka for me. I was watching his videos late at night during my heartbreak after crying. And he was like, he said, you know, what I'm trying to do with his space company. He said, what I'm trying to do is be the infrastructure of the space. Because he's like, we already made our money off of the postal infrastructure. He's like, we use the internet infrastructure. These infrastructure are already built. He's like, but what if we create the space infrastructure for people to go do all their genius things on whatever? I was like, damn, that means they can have a tax on that motherfucker. I was like, that shit can be like the U.S. Postal Mail Service of the space. And you know how much money he gonna collect off it? That's how Mansa Musa got rich, because of the trade route that he created throughout North Africa into Europe. That's how he became the richest man in history.
Cool.
And I was like, Joe Budden was motherfucking right. Charlamagne should have focused on owning infrastructure versus leveraging opportunity for himself and others. But got tricked into another deal with iHeart. So they're going to be have him on the Breakfast Club for 10 more years.
No. So
talk to me.
You got to understand when you speak about it from a certain point, you have certain luxuries, right?
Yeah.
Everybody. So Jeff Bezos started in a room, basically, right?
Yeah.
Amazon and shit started in a room. That ain't everybody's starting point, right? I was just watching.
He started in the room, but this motherfucker was making like well over 6 figures as an executive before he started Amazon.
Right. He quit, of course, like he quit his job and then he started investing.
Quit a highly lucrative job.
But before let's do Tyler Perry, for instance, right? Mm-hmm. Tyler Perry didn't always have infrastructure to do what he wanted to do.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't, because he didn't have his own theater. He had his ideas.
Okay.
And then he partnered with these people to get it out there.
No, you're right.
So you can't blame, just like you don't blame Martin, you want to give credit to both Martin and Malcolm for the different ways that they moved about going to the same space. You gotta say Joe Budden ain't all right or all wrong. Neither is Charlamagne. Because what you did was, and Charlamagne talked about this, I signed a deal with them, but it's a lot of these people that he put in that are on these platforms, they're not giving their content to iHeart. They're not giving they partnering with them very much like Joe Rogan, who has the largest platform, who Joe Budden don't want to compare his stuff to because he's white. He partnered with him. So for this amount of time, you can have my stuff.
But the difference is that Charlamagne, and listen, I support both of them again. I'm just raising my beliefs on this. Charlamagne, he talks shit. He kind of downplayed the fuck out of Joe Budden's moves, but saying how he's loud and disruptive and how it's fucking up his potential contract. And Joe Budden said, we're not having the same conversations. And he's right, because Charlamagne's having a conversation of being a content owner and creator. And Joe Budden is speaking from a perspective of being an infrastructure owner.
Right. But if somebody flip homes and if somebody own different properties, I can't shit on either one of them.
Exactly. But that's the thing. He was shitting on Joe Budden initially.
Well, he was shitting on Joe Budden about the way Joe goes about it. Mm-hmm. Because you can't.
That's why Joe said we're not having the same conversation.
Right. Joe, the way Joe talk is funny. We are not having the. I have an issue with the issue that most people are having, and the Charlamagne is expressing, is the issue of how we go about it. He's saying that ain't the way I'm going about it. Charlamagne would make jokes about him his contract being up, but Charlamagne ain't talking about the negotiations and ain't talking. If you don't want to work with them, it's almost like one person is taking Jay-Z's route and one person is taking Dame's route. Dame was loudly, Jay-Z just made his moves. Dame is loudly expressing his discontent for the system.
Right, but you gotta appreciate both.
Right, so there is no right.
Yeah, but as long as Jay-Z not coming out talking down on Dame Dash's perspective, that's where No,
it's not. It's that if Jay-Z, it's like Jay-Z saying, "I don't like how loud he is."
Yeah, but it's
complaining about. Infrastructure that he's investing in.
It wasn't just that, but Charlamagne was also throwing little subs about the Tahiri shit, little subs about fucking dogs. Like, and again, I fuck with Charlamagne heavy. It's just that he was making shit. I was like, if y'all really homies or y'all cool, cordial, have some type of truce behind scenes, that type of shit you got to stay away from, especially as black men. You know what I'm saying? Because Joe said that too. He's like, you be talking all this black man empowerment, camaraderie shit. You be texting me.
I did hear him say that.
And then you get on the radio and say all kinds
let's
of
not
shit.
make it public.
Yeah, but you get out here and you do all these public I ain't fucking no dog. Like, come on, what kind of shit is that? You know what I'm saying? But you sit here feeding into this shit. So I feel him on that. I feel that Charlamagne just should have been like, I think he should have took the high road. Not even the high road. He just should have been like, look, me and Joe really in the same fight for the same progression of our people. He just got a different approach to how he wants to construct it. And that's fine.
They basically had a roundabout going two different ways.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
But I know that Charlamagne had talked about he talked about how stubborn he could be sometimes. Like he said he had cancer and shit all the time. Well, no, I'm talking about with Angela Yee and the Gucci Mane situation. He said he just apologized to her.
Oh, really?
He said he just apologized for her about that. So sometimes it's him being stubborn and managing his own way.
I
think that the biggest thing. But he said they was out of the studio for so long.
How would you feel?
And that was a conversation.
How would you feel for a female worker of yours, a woman worker of yours that was cool as hell, that you were cool as hell? Well, y'all might not be best friends, but y'all was cool as hell. And, for your job, whatever, you was hanging, or whatever, just hanging with another dude, and he was just talking down on that shit.
Really what Angela Yee could have did was started the Black women aren't protected conversation there. I think that
you got to give her credit for that.
Charlamagne, but it's really
she could have, but she didn't. You got to give her credit.
I'm not giving credit because it would have still been a valid argument. The thing is, and I've talked about this a few times. When you're talking to, he's doing his job as interviewing, and like somebody said, like I think he had the conversation with this was a conversation with Vlad.
Yeah, and
so Charlamagne is talking, and Charlamagne is like, yeah, but I can't be accountable for what that person says. Now, Charlamagne laughs at ignorant shit sometimes. So if somebody say something about, if somebody coming at you or somebody coming at one of my homies, I'm going to be like, that's fucked up. And that's my perspective on it. When he's like, oh, she a bitch ass nigga and shit like that, that's one I think is a different, like, I don't expect much from Gucci. Yeah. I'm not expecting Gucci to be a gentleman. Yeah. You seen how he was on the Breakfast Club interview. He got some mental issues. Right. And I'm not excusing that, but I'm saying, I'm not trying to reason with a fool. I'm going to have a conversation about him with it.
So you want to say shit? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm going to say, I'm going to go deeper into it because.
See, I'm looking
what, it ain't like Angela Yee would stop the conversation.
Yeah, but I feel you. But it's not even just about Yee. It's about all the other Black girls that's watching, that support you, that look up to you. you got to make a stance for them too. And for niggas that do shit like that, you got to make a stance against it. Like, this shit is symbolic at some point.
But low key too, during that interview,
like, sometimes you can be diplomatic and all that, but sometimes you got to whip out the goddamn hammer on the nigga. I ain't saying you got to disrespect him or try to chest to chest with him, but you got to stand your ground too. Just like he stand his ground, you got to stand your ground and represent for those that's fighting a good fight out there, you know, and put on for them. What does it look like? What does that look like? That looks like, you know.
Is it as simple as, all right, she ain't got to be all that?
No, it could be that, or it could be just like, you know, look, that shit kind of corny, you know what I'm saying? You know, I fuck with your music, I fuck with your way, we go way back.
That nigga scared
on some real shit, I just can't fuck with that.
That nigga scared of Gucci.
That's probably true.
Right. So that nigga wasn't.
Oh, I'm sure Wax was standing nearby, and that nigga Wax was thrown the fuck off too. So like he don't travel without security. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't the whole thing, macho. Like I said, and even you can stand up for yourself and for your people and be symbolic without trying to engage and make it violence. But this whole thing, that's what I'm saying. You got to sometimes stand up so other motherfuckers can feel stood up for, so they can be more empowered to do shit.
I'm a nigga who I be like, you know me. I don't share space with people who do. He in a different space where he interviewing motherfuckers and shit like that. So it's two things. It is, if he say something disrespectful, it's like I gotta let him say it, and I can say what I need to say. All right, man, I don't support it. Now, the problem that most people have was that Charlamagne was kind of kikiing about that shit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He didn't take a stand for it, is what I'm saying. Like, and again, I fuck with Charlamagne, and it's just, that's a person thing, period. You're not going to always agree with everything they do, and you can still be a fan and support them. But it's just that was just a sour moment. You know what I'm saying? It happens.
The problem with their situation, and we're going to get into the topic after this.
Yeah.
The problem with their situation is there has been situations where somebody would go at Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club in the face of
right, and neither Ye nor Envy stand up or say anything.
Right, and motherfuckers have pressed them in the studio.
What? That's true. That's a good point.
So I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying that speaks to the dynamic they already had. And you want somebody to go out of their character to defend people that you sit in the studio with, and you like
defended you. Yeah,
but some people will say, it's because Ye wasn't there to defend herself. She wouldn't have did shit.
That's true.
She wouldn't have did shit.
That's true.
This ain't speculation. We've had situations where she didn't do shit.
All been like that in the studio.
Right, they all been pressed.
What's her name?
Keisha Cole.
Not Keisha Cole. The one who got the booty done and took the booty back out. The thick one.
I don't know. But I know Keisha. I think Keisha Cole's. Keisha Cole's pressed Ye one time.
No, it's not Keisha. Well, it was Keisha Cole pressing her too. But no, this was the one who called her out. It was like, not Chrisette Michelle. I forgot her name. She's the chick that was on Atlanta, Hip Hop Atlanta. Anyway, she came at the Angeline neck on the show. She's like, and you be sitting here all that fake stuff and all that kiki and all that, and you just let them do that. And she went in on
right. That's why I thought that was Keisha Cole.
Nah,
but
I say that because they all light skinned.
Just because they lighter than you don't make them light skinned. They just lighter than you.
What is she then?
Keisha Cole.
Michelle.
Michelle. That's what it was. You right. You right. My bad, King.
You know what I'm saying?
but yeah. So I think that's a good conversation to have. Yeah. I don't see there being an issue except for why you got to speak out on the way I do things. If it ain't hurting nobody. That's the only thing, because everybody build different. I can't be mad at Jay-Z for not owning the infrastructure of a lot of the things he got because he worth a bill. I can't be mad at, you know what I'm saying? You got Tyler Perry who got a shitload of scrutiny.
That's true.
But he just now, well, no, he didn't.
He got a shit.
He been on infrastructure. He just expanded this shit in a way that most black people haven't.
Most people haven't. Yeah, that's a fact.
And well, because you got all them studios and shit.
Yeah, but a lot of the studios they belong to like older companies.
Right,
There's not a lot of movie studios out there owned by individuals or owned by. That's some unique shit.
But so we got to switch all the way.
Yeah, let's get back to it. Let's get into our goddamn subject. The black guys are here for the game. By the way, we are gonna do our cigar. We're gonna start. Listen, if you want to see cigar reviews, I always post them because I'm a motherfucker that's mainly smoking. And I'm mainly posting, you know what I'm saying? And I post the cigar reviews on the Instagram and on the Facebook. But we are going to start doing cigar reviews now that, you know, we're back in the same vicinity, and, you know, we can enjoy a lot of cigars together and whatever when we come back on here. And we're going to start doing more cigar reviews because it is Black Men and Cigars. Y'all like, damn, y'all ain't never smoking. Or, you know, y'all ain't never really getting into cigars because this ain't no cigar channel. You know, we just have intellectual conversation and we cut the fuck up along the way. But, you know, we just both happen to have some love, you know, appreciate cigars. I think I love it a little bit more than he does.
Oh, you do.
You know what I'm saying? I love me. I'm gonna have some cigar. Right, I'm gonna have a cigar soon. I leave this motherfucker.
I'm gonna have one. We gotta go to. Oh, I gotta take you to Acer. Shout out to Acer Cigar over in Douglasville. They ain't paying me to say that, but it's over off.
Wow, what's over there?
So it's nice. It's nice. They got good ass food, like better than Magic City wings. Shout out to Lemon Pepper Lou.
But is there any women in there though?
That's why I told you I met them women at
IT at Acer.
The one at IT, and then the other one that
I might go fuck with them after we leave here. I'll leave here actually.
You probably gotta go there maybe tomorrow on the game night.
Oh,
what's the game tonight? No. But it ain't the Lakers.
No.
You talking about basketball?
Yeah, it is basketball, but you might be right. I might be going best on the football night.
But yeah, hit me up tomorrow.
All right, we'll slide through it. But yeah, so the thing is, you know, I love cigars. I want to, you know, the cigar whole thing is just that's how we are. We're smooth. You know, we're filled with a lot of things. We come from a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different experiences. But, you know, we stay on point. We stay on message. It's all about Black progression. It's all about Black growth, Black support, Black love. So but yeah, let's get back on subject. So
we actually coming soon. We actually gonna do almost an extension of what we were talking about last time.
Yeah.
And this has to do with the emotional existence of men in relationships. Because we always talk about how emotional women are, and the reality is men, whether you inside or outside of a relationship, the existence of men's emotions, we get like 4 emotions that we get to express.
That's a fact.
We get to express the fact that we horny as fuck all the time. We get to express our anger. We don't really get to smile too much because it's a sign of weakness, and we definitely don't get to be communicating our emotions in a way that's received well, because you get perceived as a bitch ass nigga.
Yep.
Hey, I thought the funniest thing, this sidebar, I thought I was watching Shannon and Skip, and now Skip got comfortable as hell cussing, so he was talking about somebody being a bitch ass.
Really? He said that?
He said it to repeat somebody.
I thought I saw it in a comment review on YouTube.
Bro,
I was like,
I played that shit about 4 or 5 times. I think it was. I don't know if it was NBA related, but it was about like Dame or somebody being a bitch ass. One of them.
That is hilarious.
But I played that shit 4 times.
Skip.
But
shout out to Uncle Sean.
He wanted to say bitch ass nigga.
You know, Club Shay Shay about to be open. The podcast.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he had a podcast. That shit gonna be literally. Oh my God, I can't.
All right, King, going back, King.
All right, King.
So, we really want to talk about the emotional existence of men, and how we as men approach women and let them know, like, I gotta have full range to express my emotions, and women gotta start giving it to men in a way that we can accept it, like creating an environment of openness to share it and share ourselves honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I think a lot of Black guys get, you know, a bad rap for when it comes to emotional contribution and existence in a relationship. It's like, if women, and it's funny because I did an interview last night, we talked about this. If women just could understand like all the feelings and insecurities and doubts and things that you have, a man has those exact same things. The only thing is a man doesn't have the grace to be able to not lead with those things or expose those things for fear of his lady thinking he's soft, you know what I'm saying? Or woman, a potential, you know, woman that he's seeking out to think that he's not strong enough, man enough, you know. And so, you know, it's crazy because it's like, yeah, you know, the women who often are. What's funny is the women win men over with feelings, and here's what I mean by this. Especially, you know, when you're attractive, it has to always start with attractive. But you win a man over to want to do more for you with feelings. When you're nice to him, when you're receptive, when you show gratitude, when you show appreciation. Those are all feelings. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to. It's interesting, you know, that we don't highlight the emotional existence of men, black guys in relationships, when those are the only thing that anchors a man in to want to commit to a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And what's funny is, let's say as men, we got 10 emotions.
Yeah.
Or we got 10 emotions. We really can, like I said, we can only express 4.
Yeah.
So if I'm emotional, I gotta find a way to channel that emotion into. Let's say what's an emotion that we can't really express? Let's say happiness, right?
Well, let's. How about instead of happiness? How about disgruntlement?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, shame. So
shame.
we can't really express an emotion like shame.
Yeah.
So it starts with shame.
We know we don't gain like 15 pounds. We know we got a COVID fat on your head. You know what I'm saying?
Right, shame. So we can't
breathing a little harder.
We can't express shame. So it starts off with shame, and we can't say, babe, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm ashamed of this. So it start off with shame, and it end up with anger, because that's an emotion that we can express to you, or nonchalantness, which is an emotion that a lot of shit either goes anger, a nonchalantness, or shit. It's really how those, if you're jealous, that shit turn to anger or it turn to nonchalant, depending on how it is. And those are the feelings that's validated. Because if not, if you feel ashamed of yourself, or if you feel guilty about something, you either gonna get scorned for it. If I talk to my homie about some shit, I'm acting like a bitch because I'm gossiping. Or if I'm in my feelings one day, which I can't be ever, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna say that too. A lot of women think that, they don't say, it starts with men. A lot of men are actually emotionally supportive of each other, because we understand, oftentimes what we're going through. So, we're always, especially if they're your friends or your homeboys or some shit, or your big brother or your mentor, we understand, like, we get it. You in a very vulnerable spot. We respect that you being vulnerable enough to even come to us. That means you trust us. And like, bro, like we hear you. Not like there are a lot of men who just don't know how to communicate. That doesn't mean they're not able to support another black man in an emotional state, because we get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of black men just see each other. We can acknowledge each other emotionally, because we also understand at the same time, shit can go super left if this motherfucker emotions get too uncontrollable. You know what I'm saying? He could turn this whole motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? You still got coke, nigga?
No, you ain't see me. I was gonna tell you afterwards, nigga. I had swallowed shit. The shit went down the wrong. I've been trying to hold it together. Nigga almost died on cam.
This shit was gonna go viral.
Man, look, and they won't say my name at all. They won't be like Mark Anthony. I'm fucking died on cam, nigga.
Black man dies on podcast.
Right, black man in Atlanta died with another man on cam.
What the fuck? OnlyFans account.
Right. Go ahead. You on OnlyFans. But I will say this, man. It's let's break it down into for men. If this nigga looking,
I'm trying to see who
we ain't live, nigga. Calm down. We need to break it down 2 ways. What can, because I agree with you when you say black men are more supportive now. You got to understand that transition, because when we was young, these niggas wasn't supportive at all. Nigga, you can't tell me shit about how you feeling because you gay.
Well, we were kids, though. That's not
No. I'm talking about even looking at the older men. They didn't seem supportive of each other. It was either a level of understanding.
Yeah, your woman tripping. That's true.
You still couldn't.
You had your drink, man. You know what I'm saying? Pull you up something.
And then when you get drunk, you either horny, or angry. Yeah. So you didn't have. Yeah, you gotta go. Those wasn't really validated. But as we get older and we get more socially conscious, and we cognitively choose the people we around now.
That's a fact. Back
in the day, you was around. I used to hang out with 7 different dudes. Because it was convenient. We live in the same neighborhood. We balled every day. You know what I'm saying? But they make the niggas that I hang out with now because I chose to live a different life, and life took us in different directions. But now I'm around men who understand, like, all right, I can tell my bro I love him. I can tell my bro that I'm feeling like one of my homies told me he was feeling emotionally vulnerable, but he didn't want to sound gay because it was still this hyper masculine. I said, bro, if you feel like that, just hit me up and say you want to grab a drink, you want to hang out, and I know what that
going
means.
through this whole breakup, goddamn, I've been emotionally, vulnerable than the motherfuckers, you know.
I be wanting to roast your ass and pull out a violin at the same time, but I had to be aware.
Boy, we.
There you go. I'm glad.
But I think I kind of got to, I'm kind of beyond the feeling sorry for myself phase now. But and I regained some of my confidence back. But
all right, so question though. So from men to women, what can men really do to make sure that within their dynamics with women, that their emotional existence is validated? Like, how we do that?
Well, one, you got to feel that this is a woman that you're dealing with that you can trust. You know what I'm saying? That, if you can't trust her, then you need to be questioning the whole relationship anyway, if you can't trust her in your vulnerable state. Because I get a lot of men, they came in as Superman, they want to always remain to be seen as Superman. But the way you can do it is by, pillow talking late at night when she's in a vulnerable state, you in a vulnerable state. You don't want to do these things when she right after an argument, or when she just got home from work and she's stressed, or y'all dealing with the kids and they loud. You want to deal with it during vulnerable moments. Maybe y'all watching TV together. It's been an hour into the episode, or while she's cooking, while y'all eating dinner together. During the date, even date nights are incredible times to share those feelings. Like, babe, when you said what et cetera, it made me think about et cetera, it made me feel about et cetera. Those are the times where you should have these vulnerable conversations with your lady. And, but you got to do it with a woman that you trust. Don't be trying to do it with no motherfucker that you just dated. You know what I'm saying? That you just scouting out to see if she, or you just knocking down, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to fuck around and get your feelings hurt. But do it with a woman that you trust. But this has to be a woman that's shown some vulnerability towards you as well.
I love that. I'm gonna add on top of that.
What's that?
As the man, you gotta set that. I believe that because a lot of women follow a man lead. Unless you want a dominant woman, a lot of women follow the man lead. Because either they're gonna do what the man say,
right?
They're gonna do what the man say, and they're gonna add on what they've experienced.
Right.
So as the man, put that shit out. Because I want to take you aback. Let me throw like you're gonna be like, damn. Like if I come at you and say, look, off rip, I'm not some dude that got 2 or 3 emotions. I got a range of emotions, and I need you to fuck with me on that and be understanding that. Don't think that I'm gonna be. Don't think that I'm gonna be this dude that only express anger and hate. And this ain't Instagram, so it's not gonna come in the form that you want. As the man, you gotta over communicate your feelings because a woman ain't used to it.
Exactly. You gotta be clear.
So you also gotta process. So what I do with my lady, I process through my emotions first because I know my woman, she a hot and cold person. So I process through it first because I know if I don't give it to her the right way, she gonna go all or nothing with it. And I'm not that. I operate on the spectrum. So I usually deal with my emotions, and then once I'm done with that, I can give it to her in a way that's not 1 or 2 emotions, but I can tell her about the experience that I had. Because my therapist say I should take her along with me, but he don't know what I know.
So you don't know it like I know.
You don't know it like I know. But I know how if I express the first thought I have, she might get stuck in the first thought I have. And the way that I process through my emotions is so swiftly. She don't understand
that you've been moved on to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because really when I'm good,
she think you so anchored in that feeling.
That first feeling.
Yeah.
And in my progression, like some people, I got a background in psychology. I've tried to do my best and really invest in understanding myself. So it don't take me long to figure out how I feel about something and what my next move is.
Right.
But for people that haven't been there, it take them a long time to process, and I gotta respect their process. But I would never want to drag a woman through the mud through my process. It's just whether it's a feeling of jealousy, which I get, which is an honest and real emotion. If it's insecurity that I have because the COVID done got to me and I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I still gotta process those emotions, and then when I'm done, I gotta be able to convey that to.
Well, that's the thing too. A lot of black guys too feel like, you know, that can be setting themselves up for a landmine later on that a woman will use against them.
Right, but that's what you say. That's why I start with where you are, like
trust.
But it's a combination, right?
Yeah.
Just because you give somebody some, don't mean you got to give them all.
Because I've had a woman use that shit against me.
Right, but
dirty.
Nigga, when I heard what I heard, nigga, that shit she said to your ass. You was here and she escalated there about one shit. I kicked her ass through the phone on some Sparta shit.
All right, go ahead.
But it starts. So I tell people, when you connect with folks, it's two ways. You can connect with people on a couple levels. I can be we can have a great, and I talk about this with dating. I can open up to you and not give you the depths of my soul. If we talking about surface level shit, interest and all of that, that's surface level. So when you talk about emotions, you can talk about your emotions in a mature way without going so deep that you unveiling everything and she hasn't earned that yet.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So you can have earned the front end. Like if I just meet a woman, we on the first few dates, I can tell you, look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. My emotional range is large.
Yeah.
And I'm going to express that. If we trying to work towards relationships long term forever, I'm gonna always be open with expressing that, because you're not gonna constrict me and I'm not gonna constrict myself. It's gonna kill me.
Because being honest with you, big brother, you know what I'm saying? Being honest with you gotta understand that if you when you deal with a woman, you haven't vetted her enough, and you don't really trust her, but you feel the need to open up to somebody, and so you want to open up to her. If you open up to the wrong woman, she can make it seem like, your emotions are small, or shouldn't even have existed, that you're thinking too much, that you're doing too much. You're not doing too much. You're just talking to the wrong motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
But the other part too is make them comfortable with talking to you. Because if it's a one-way transaction, if you just giving all your emotions and you realize that she really ain't.
But I feel like a lot of women don't really take the time
to know
a man.
Right, but you got to.
Like a lot of them,
that's why you set the tone, right?
They don't really get to know you.
Right, but if you set the tone, and I'm
single.
As a man, you got to.
I know what time it is.
As a man, I really believe you got to say, "This is how I am," and not to say this is how I'm a pillar, and this is how I'm always going to be, and you got to conform to that. But most men just say they start taking interest in a woman off rip. And you do your best to cater to her and keep her happy.
Oh, yeah.
And then women think, he takes pleasure in this.
Yeah.
So all I got to do is give him pussy and give him some head.
We talked about that.
You don't cook, you don't clean.
We talked about that yesterday on this on this woman's IG yesterday. Black Marriage Movement. Shout out to her. We did a great interview. But we talked about that.
Tell her to hit me up.
Shit. All right, goddamn. Tell her to hit
some married shit.
Yeah, you are married. We talked about how men do a lot and really require very little from a woman. And the requirement that we have of a woman is mostly the emotional shit. Appreciation, respect, reciprocation. You know what I'm saying? That's really it. If you woman do those small things, we'll give you the goddamn world. You know what I'm saying? We want to give you more. And she said this point. This is the point she made. She said, if a man does something for you, it's the reaction that he's betting on for it to show him whether he did something really good or he did something really bad.
Yeah.
And if you react in a way it's like, oh man, he's gonna go harder the next time around to give you even more. But if you return in a way that's like, oh, okay, I appreciate it, it's cool, it's gonna make it feel like a disappointment. He's gonna feel like he can't never do nothing to make you happy. Because we talked about.
But hold on, let's take that and flip that to the guy, right?
Right.
How often do you see a guy elated?
Rare.
Right. Because that man ain't used to getting that same, invested in.
Yeah. Because we're used to doing shit for.
And my wife told me, she was like, she always asked me how did I sleep? And I say it was okay. And she was like, why wasn't it good? And I'd be like, I mean, shit, it wasn't good. Even if I sleep good, I'm just used to, but I got to be able to expand that to say how I'm really feeling. And actually, Big Crit said it on one of his, I think it was an interview or a song, and he was like, I got to be okay with telling somebody, I ain't good today, or expressing my true emotion.
But what I'm saying is, it just ain't in a lot of our nature to be overly expressive because we ain't used to having shit.
Right.
But at the same time,
but you can't.
If you're trying to nurture and foster a healthy relationship dynamic with a man, you need to understand that's the workings of how we are. It's your because, like I said, we gonna give you a lot. Black men, especially, we're not used to receiving a lot from women. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
But
we expecting the small.
No,
we just wanted to be small enough to where the small to be big enough to where it gives us what we need.
Nigga. But I done known black men to.
No, we ain't talking about ain't shit black men. We ain't talking about ain't shit black women.
No, I ain't.
Oh, all right.
Go in there, calm down. I don't even talk. Acknowledge them niggas. I don't know niggas who got $100 pair of J's.
Yeah.
And they react the same on their birthday, and they react the same way as a ticket to the Bahamas.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. A man and a woman aren't the same.
Right.
We
but
no.
But we can't say that if I'm talking to you about a woman that I dealt with, that I'm gossiping. Yeah. And that's seen in a negative connotation. But if a woman do it, it's just norm. We can't say it like we don't have the same emotion.
If a woman get a black man tickets to the Bahamas, it's likely because that motherfucker done did 25 things before then. The fuck is you talking? This shit not equivalent at all.
But if he's not used to receiving anything,
he
also can't say, all right, nigga, that's cool.
I mean, that's true, but we talking about what's going to feed the relationship. He needs more excitement out of her verbally.
I was expressing the difference between a gift, right?
No, but I'm talking about what we talking about the feelings of it all. This is all about feelings, emotions. A man has to feel like he's doing something right because he gets a real kick out of that. Because he's the one doing most of the shit all the time. He's the one doing the dates, doing the gifts, doing the surprises, doing the make you feel good.
It's a woman watching this right now and being like, I gave everything and I'm the giver. And
we ain't talking about broke ass Tyrone, goddamn, or nothing ass Nick. You know what I'm saying? But busted ass Bruce. We ain't talking about them.
Back breaking Bruce.
You know what I'm saying? Back breaking, busting ass.
No. So I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think that so now if we talking about reciprocating from women, we got a whole different show.
But we talking about emotion. All I was saying is men thrive off of a woman's. The woman, the depending thing on.
No, I don't want to get stuck there because what you're doing is saying if a woman shows her proper reaction, emotional reaction to what a man does, then it sounds like that's the sole driving force.
How
you saying yes? You wrong, nigga.
How?
Because that shows no regard for the man and his feelings about how it comes in.
If I get you a gift,
right,
you feel good about the gift I gave you.
Right.
That makes me feel even better as a man.
That's cool. That's cool and that's cute.
Go ahead.
That's cute,
Say so.
But in real life, what is it that? Because my favorite word is reciprocity.
When he get to shit like that, that means he ain't got no target.
My favorite word is reciprocity. So if I'm only doing shit for you, and I'm
no, we're not talking. Again, you bringing up the motherfucker that's not worth shit.
No, I'm not.
We're not talking about that's the only thing that we talking about what fuels a man to do more in a relationship.
Right. But
it makes a man feel
But is that a man or is that a humanistic quality?
Because it can be humanistic, yes, but we're talking about this more dynamic of a man, how he
I don't like to get stuck on
he about to say, listen, we all have the same thing. No, I want to say this. We all have the same feelings, emotional capacity, yes.
No.
But some of us as men and women, there's differences in how we pour into different aspects and behavior aspects that just go to the gender that we are.
Fuck that. You know, I don't like when you put out in the front that you willing to do X, Y, and Z for somebody without the reciprocation. I'm not tit for tat, but the understanding is I'm always going to invest in you.
He's saying here, petty nigga.
No, I'm always going to invest in you. Or you going to always invest in me because it's only so much you're going to pour into somebody's cup if they never pour back into you.
Listen, I know I take more risk than the average man. That's why I don't suggest men to take
against
but right.
all.
But I don't suggest men to take the risk that I take. I take the risk
talking like a goddamn
right.
Look here, young man.
Listen here, Bun B. You got to put some goddamn thick ass shades back. But that's the thing, like. But this ain't even about me. It's about them. It's about the black men, what they going through.
But you can't say, you got to understand, a lot of black men get told that you're supposed to do for women continuously, and your feelings get put on the back burner. So I don't want to validate.
That's how it feels. What the fuck is you
Right.
talking about?
So I'm not going to tell this black man, keep pouring into her.
Nah,
and
but
never,
we're
never
not.
acknowledge
No,
your own
listen,
feelings
no,
about
no, no. We're not saying that. What I'm saying, it's really simple. It's you want a woman to be excited about the shit that you do for her.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm acknowledging that.
All right then.
But I want to acknowledge
What
that.
you saying that?
I want to. We're having different conversations.
You having that fucking different. We talking about emotions. This podcast.
Right.
Emotions.
So if I'm talking about emotions, the emotion is not only what I do for you, it is how it's reciprocated.
Yeah, you want to feel special too, but
right. So
a lot of time for a lot of men, especially if you're a man who got means, you know she likely can't do for you what you do her, but she can do shit that's fulfilling.
I'm gonna tell you why
her reaction sometimes makes you feel great.
Right, but I don't want to focus on her reaction making me feel great. It was an episode of Jamie Foxx show, right? This nigga went to. I was thinking about this shit earlier. It was an episode of Jamie Foxx show where Fancy Dad and their parents had all this money, and so Jamie said, "You know what? I'm going to plan y'all anniversary," and it was all simple shit. Yes. This nigga who had all this money, but it was all simple shit that they did, and that lets you know. And her reaction from it was bigger than all of the monetary themes because it was little simple shit like hugs and kisses and little hug pamphlets and all this shit that cost nothing but effort, and it was thoughtfulness. And that's where we get to where it comes to emotions. It is how much does this person not just think about you, but put their thoughts into action, and it translates to something that affects you, has an effect on you in a positive way. Yeah. So me giving to you and me having a good feeling about that is only going to take me so far if the reciprocation ain't there.
I'm just saying sometimes the woman's reaction is sometimes it is.
Yeah, I'm not getting caught up
like
on sometimes though, nigga.
Like I said,
sometimes
most men
are die quick.
Most men are gonna give 15 times before they even expect.
No, they're not. Niggas expect sex on the first date, and that's what niggas got to stop doing.
See, that's what you're doing. You're equating sex to fucking gifts.
Right, and that's what niggas got to stop doing.
That's what you fucking up at.
Women get caught in this thought that the pussy is good enough.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Is an emotional satisfaction for him because when he come, that's the only.
She don't fulfill her quota.
I got.
Like, I don't fulfill my reciprocation quota.
That little emotional boom.
Especially after a man hit it about the fourth time, it really ain't all that. I'm just being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, it's just company.
But that's why women, and I'm telling you, we could have another episode about this. Like, women got to get more creative than a box gift. Company.
Right. Way more fun. Y'all got
because emotionally,
no more watches. No more.
Oh, we're gonna do a Thanksgiving episode for that shit.
Work search. He worked from home now.
He gotta have a Zoom shirt. He got a Zoom tie.
Get that nigga a California surfer t-shirt.
You got some socks with your face on.
You know what I'm saying? Get him some Calvin Klein jeans or some shit. Those 5. We're gonna do an episode about that. Them shits is banned.
Trash, man. You still giving niggas a tie in 2020? You trash.
Yeah, oh my God.
But emotionally, man, men need to be more expressive and set the tone for it.
I agree.
And women also need to come to the table and say, it's all right. And validate when he shows, because it's not going to come, just because you say it's okay to show emotion, it don't mean it's going to come all up front. He going to test you with little seeds. Yeah. And when he give you those seeds, he going to say, all right, let me see how she take this. If I can't express this to her, I know that I can't go further with that emotion. Mm-hmm. And he going to become a recluse to his own emotions. Mm-hmm. And now you back with this shell of a man who only going to express 2 or 3 emotions.
That's a fact.
That the world validates.
And you know what? It was fucked up. And we talked about this again in the interview. It gives opportunity for another woman to creep in your shit. Because what happens is while you ain't invalidating your man in alternative ways and stuff, it's another bitch out there sliding his DMs, complimenting him. It's the bitch that worked at Subway, was we talking about, that's complimenting him, that know how to make his favorite sandwich without him saying shit, that's nice to him. You know what I'm saying? It start off with him tipping her $1. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how shit goes, you know? So yeah, you gotta, listen, a man is just as deep as a woman is. It just takes some cultivating, you know what I'm saying? It takes some scavenger. But most importantly, he got to trust you. When a man tells you some shit for the first time that's vulnerable, or first few times that's vulnerable, and you receive it well, and he sees he can trust you, you don't never use it against him and throw shit at him during arguments, he'll let you open up to the depths of him. But when you throw shit against him, when you use that shit against him, and you close-minded to a lot of shit and everything he has to say, he only gonna show you them 3-4 sides of his emotions. That's it.
We can really let's do some closeouts. So
right,
one of the things that I'm gonna start with is therapy.
Yeah.
Take your ass to therapy. You're not weak for letting somebody know that talking to somebody and helping them.
They don't know my business. I don't know these people.
Yeah, you ain't even gonna run into them in no grocery store or nothing like that. They don't know you.
Unbiased professional opinion,
right? People that have researched this. People have, if you can if you black, get you a black therapist. And if you got the means, get you multiple therapists that can give you a well-rounded perspective.
A nigga will let a stranger of a bartender pour him a drink that he put in his system, but won't let a stranger of a professional get into his head.
On the last minute basis, you gonna go get a stranger barber though.
Right.
Have your hairline like this right here.
That's a fact.
So the reality is, both men and women, you got to start with therapy. If you get into a relationship, do couples counseling, even if it's once a month, so that y'all can start understanding your emotional tune and have a finger on the emotional pulse of your relationship.
Right.
Basically, men need to set the tone for women. Women need to be understanding, and because really you got to understand there's an emotional shift going on for men. And women have already started the shift. The ball is rolling in our social dynamics, and men are kind of behind, but we still coming. And y'all gotta not want these hyper traditional men, and you're being a progressive woman. That shit does not swing the right way.
No, that's a fact. And then my closeout notes is, it's all about trust, Black guys. You got to find a woman that you trust, and that empowers you to continue to trust her, that supports your feelings, that supports your thoughts, that doesn't make you feel ashamed, that even when you are in your stages of Lewis Clark, she still makes you feel like you're Superman. It's the kind of woman that you need, that you kind of, that you can trust yourself to open up to, and it can start with small things. It doesn't have to always be the immediate thing, severe things like you being molested in your childhood. Shit could be small shit like how you felt about how somebody, the bartender talked to you, some shit like that. It can be small shit, and then it builds up, but you gotta establish some type of trust to pour your vulnerable spots in within a relationship. And again, you gotta pick your spots, and you gotta know the type of woman that you're dealing with on how she handles things. And like I always say, it's practice. Relationships, marriages are continuous practice, just like any other profession in the world. You're never going to get perfected to the point where you're going to be a masterful of it and know it all, because human beings are never a finite journey. A finite point, we're a continuous journey. And so in that journey, you're going to continue to develop, continue to grow, continue to change. And so with that, so should your approach to your relationship and your marriage, especially in this area of vulnerability. So open the fuck up, you know what I'm saying? Let her in and keep watching our goddamn podcast.
Final thought too, we are looking for music for the podcast.
Oh yeah.
So if your cousin still do music,
who makes some goddamn beats,
instrumentals, we ain't really we're looking for more of a hip hop feel to
trap fucking music, you know what I'm saying, with some smooth shit,
with the Kentucky Derby hat on.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep a hat. I feel that's gonna be part of my my stilo, like fly hats and shit.
I mean, I got a few of them in there. I shaved before the podcast, so I don't want the shiny hair. I'm about that. You said the nigga get his haircut be lit. I'm about to. You know what?
You know what? One day you should wear a goddamn one of them lace hair. You should wear lace hair. That's what you should do one day.
Nigga, you need that. I gotta realize if I get the hair, if you get the lace beard.
Oh shit. We gonna do that shit one day. I just wanna see how the women react to shit. I want fuckers to react to me having a full beard. We gonna do that for real.
Damn, nigga, that shit.
See? Yeah. I'm with the shit.
Hold on, we gonna have to have a bet then. We gotta have a bet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to set a bet up.
All right, I'm with the bet. I ain't gonna lose.
But yeah, we need if you want to give us a theme song, give us a theme song. Also, if you want to be a guest on our podcast, because we're starting to entertain it as well, No matter where you at, no matter what your interest is, as long as you're some sort of expert, you got some sort of experience in it, you got something unique to offer to the table, shoot us an email, blackmenandcigars@gmail.com. Or just leave us a comment on Instagram, and we'll respond to you accordingly. So that's it. That's all I got. So,
all right, man.
If you want to send us some cigars,
send us some cigars.
You're a brand out there. You want us to promote your shit.
One more thing. Black clothing, if you want support. Black-owned businesses, if you want support, just send us that information. Black clothing brands.
Promo for y'all,
I really want to get into, just supporting that, wearing it on the show, anything like that show, or if I do an appearance on somebody else's stuff. We're trying to do that. Other podcasters hit us up so we can do some cross promotion.
And I just want to say for me, just for me.
All right, there you go. I already know what it is.
If you're a woman out there,
do it.
And you got an OnlyFans account, and you're looking for somebody to give you some great reviews, give you a real review, of your OnlyFans, you holler at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a real review of your OnlyFans account. You know what I'm saying?
I can't wait till this nigga heal. I can't wait. Get out these OnlyFans.